Welcome to the third of our special Lincolnshire Police Authority question times, where we have an audience here at headquarters composed of pupils and staff from 6 schools in the county, and also part of the audience is young carers. And of course, all the questions that that have been submitted have that young person slant. I think we'll start with a question to Julia.
How can we as young people help the police?
Very straightforward question.
Well, basically, first of all, keep out of trouble. Unfortunately, a lot of young people get into trouble because they're misled by their peers to do things that they know are wrong. But they're frightened to let their friends down because they feel that they won't be taken as part of the group, and they may then be bullied because of it. So they will do things and they will end up getting into trouble. It could be a criminal matter, it could just be breaking the rules at school, but first of all, stop doing that. But we need everybody to be on our side, and because we go into the police regularly, we want to gain your respect and let you know that you can contact us with anything that you feel is suspicious. If you know somebody's doing wrong, you want to report it, but you want to remain anonymous. We've also got the Crime Stoppers that they can use for that. But we're on the internet. If you want to you can get our email details. You can send an anonymous email if you think somebody's doing something and we should know. I know certain schools are in the Neighbourhood Watch scheme. We send out information to you about crimes that occur and things like that, so if you know anything. But if you see anything at all that's happening that you think is wrong, or you think there's something a little bit suspicious about it, just let us know, and that way then we're all working together to keep it a safer community.
Phil, I'm absolutely sure you'd agree with that. There's a question which in a way relates to that from the point of view of young people, which is...
What does a senior officer actually do?
While you're answering that question, maybe I could add that, do you feel that there is still a reserve when it comes to young people approaching the police, someone in uniform?
Okay. Two questions there, and in terms of what can young people do to help the police, my message would be very much the same as Julia's. That the answer has to be that you keep yourself safe. That in the majority of cases, crime prevention is simply about you being smart, you understanding what the risks are to you. And as Julia says, a lot of the work that's done with schools and with young people is about keeping you safe and about keeping you informed about the risks that may be out there. In terms of what do senior officers do, well, it's senior officers' responsibility to make sure that we've got the right people in the right place doing the right job to get that information out to you. You're smart enough, you need that information to see what the risks are to you and to understand, if you like, what harm might happen, to understand the steps that you can take to prevent that. To refer back to a couple of the previous questions in terms of what do senior officers do, well, looking at the cut in the budget that we've already referred to, the senior officers need to make decisions about where are those cuts going to be, and how can we provide the best possible service to you as a community, whilst at the same time reducing the money that's spent. Going back again to a previous question about firearms, well, senior officers need to make decisions about when and where firearms are deployed. So again, the whole purpose of the work that we do, from working with young people in schools and through the work that the senior officers do, is about keeping you safe. It's about reducing the risk of harm to you, making sure that you're well informed about what the risks are to you, and basically keeping you as safe as we possibly can.
Fred, I did mention, I know that you as a member of the police authority you go out and you talk to people, you talk to as many groups as you possibly can, including, of course, young people. Do you find that there's still some sort of the reserve that I mentioned, that maybe young people in particular, or maybe older people, are not willing to approach someone in uniform because they think it's making a fuss or whatever?
I think there's still some of that about. I think it's much better than it used to be. I think really the police are far more approachable because of the way they operate. The fact that Julia goes into schools, that it's not an unfamiliar situation for young people to talk to a police officer, that we have our community officers as well, walking around on the streets. They're getting to know the communities that are there. We have neighbourhood units, so they get to know what's going on in that area, know the people there. They actually engage young people in conversations. They won't just wait to be approached. So I think that's a completely change from certainly when I was young, where the police were rather remote, authoritative people. Now they still have their authority, but I think they're far better now at talking and listening. And I'm pleased to say that actually the statistics show that in Lincolnshire, because we have what is called a trust and confidence survey. And over the last couple of years, that's going up and up and up. In other words, there are people going out asking the public, what do you feel about the police in Lincolnshire? And the confidence figure is growing all the time, it's going up. So something's going right. And I think that's all part and parcel of that. And everybody's working together to that end. But of course, there is a lot that goes on with the police that you never see. That's very important as well. We live in a very different world now. It's a world of incredible communications and electronics. And so there's a lot of things called cybercrime that's going on. And there has to be a lot of very skilled people that have to combat that. And they may be working in offices, but they're doing an equally important job than the people out on the beat.
Right, our last question in this particular session. It's one of those questions that's short, but which is a very deep question.
In what way can you improve the Lincolnshire Police?
Can I start again with you, Fred?
Right. Yeah, it's a very interesting question, that. I think the way we improve is constantly questioning what we're doing. It's as simple as that we don't rest on our laurels. We don't think, oh, well, Lincolnshire's the safest place in the country, so we don't have to do anything. No, we have to keep looking at what we're doing. We have to be critical. We have to listen. We have to listen to what the people of Lincolnshire are saying. We have to listen to what you're saying. We may not necessarily always agree with that. We may say there are reasons that we can't do certain things in the way we'd like to do things, but we need to listen. We need to take on board the views of the community, and there are many different parts of the community. Today we are concentrating on young people, but there's a lot of elderly people in Lincolnshire as well, and they may have a rather different view. There are people of different kinds of communities as well. They may be what we call minority communities, and they have a different view. So we have to listen, we have to take on board what the people say, and we have to respond. And I have to say this, within the resources that we've got, with the money we've got, we have to deploy it in the best way. If we had unlimited resources, we could meet everybody's needs. But we have to take judgments. Now, coming back to what Phil was saying about senior officers, they are having to take those judgments all the time. They come to the police authority to say, this is the way we think that it should happen, what do you think? Because we represent the community and we give our view. But we're also out there all the time engaging with the Lincolnshire people.
Phil, can you add to that?
Yes.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I think there are two points. One would be that the way that we would be more successful is, first of all, we make you safer, so you're less likely to be a victim of crime or antisocial behaviour. And secondly, that you feel safer, that maybe you don't recognise just how safe a county you live in. And one of the important messages that needs to go out, and you need to understand, is just how safe Lincolnshire is. But the other side to that, as we said, is about reducing crime. So how can we improve Lincolnshire Police? Listen to you, listen to the ways that we can engage with you, and make sure that you have the confidence to provide us with the information and to help us solve crime. So yes, we can, and actually not all of that is related to the budget. Some of it is just related to you understanding the county that you live in and the things that we can do to work together to make it a safer place to live.
Thank you very much indeed. So communication, it is a two-way street. Don't ever be afraid to contact the force for whatever, if there's something that concerns you. If it's not an emergency, then we have our new non-emergency number, which is 0300 111 0300. With that little advert, it brings our programme to an end. Thank you, if you have been, for watching, and thank you once again to our audience of pupils from around the county and staff, and of course our young carers. Thank you.